2009, so many years ago. And this is one of the rare temples where HG Gopi Gita Dd are your presiding deities. I was lucky to spend many years of my life in ISKCON Laguna Beach, which also has Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
And so I can have a little bit of an understanding of everybody who's here. Can I have a show of hands of those of you who have been practicing bhakti for less than 1 year? Okay. Anybody here brand new to the temple right now? All right. Is this your first time at 8 Hare Krishna Temple?
No.
All right. Just
This
to
year, this location.
All right. Welcome to ISKCON of Tobacco. And can I have a show of hands of who has been practicing bhakti for less than 5 years? Thank you. And who has been practicing bhakti for less than 10 years? Okay. Majority or more than 10 years. Who has been practicing bhakti for less than 20 years? And there's still quite a few hands that have not gone up. Does that mean that the rest of you have been practicing bhakti for over 20 years? Can I have a show of hands who's been practicing bhakti yoga for over 20 years? Hari Bol. Okay, thank you. We're going to chant a little bit. Jai Radha Madhava, is that your usual? We'll do Jai Radha Madhava and then we'll get started. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari 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 Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari we will start with this verse from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, text 40. I am privileged to serve as one of the ministers of the ISKCON Ministry of Education, and I have been very fortunate to spend my life among Krishna kids. I also happen to be a Krishna kid, as I see a few faces in the audience who I was raised with. And so this is one of the more powerful verses in the Bhagavad Gita, explaining what happens to a Krishna kid. Now all of us can relate to this because in one sense we're all kids of Krishna. And so we're going to explain to you from the perspective of families and those in touch with children, as well as from your own perspective, how you can develop successfully in your bhakti life.
It's 41, by the way, in case people are looking for it.
Thanks. It's text 41, not text 40. Thank you, Madam Gopali, who has the numbers memorized. Nice. Okay, so we'll start. And I heard a little kid saying Hare Krishna, so it's like confirmation for what we're about to talk about. Prabhya punya kritam lokan.
Prabhya punya kritam lokan.
Prabhya punya kritam lokan.
Prabhya punya kritam lokan.
Ushitva shashvati sama.
Ushitva shashvati sama.
Ushitva shashvati sama.
Ushitva shashvati sama.
Suchiram Srimatam Dehe.
Suchinam Srimatam Gehe.
Suchiram Srimatam Dehe.
Suchinam Srimatam Gehe.
Yoga Bhrashto Vijayate.
Yoga Bhrashto Vijayate.
Yoga Bhrashto Vijayate.
Yoga Bhrashto Vijayate.
We'll have one senior devotee please recite and the rest can follow. One of our senior devotees in the community.
Prapya punya kritam lokan.
Prapya punya kritam lokam.
Ushitva shashvati sama.
Ushitva sasvati sama.
Suchinam Srimatam Gehe.
Suchitanam Srimatam Gehe.
Yoga Bhrashto Vijayate.
Yoga Bhrashta Vijayate.
Now we'll have one of our senior Vaishnavis please recite. Now which Vaishnavi is going to say I'm senior? Anyone who's been here for more than 25 years or 20 years, please recite.
Prapya punyam kritam lokan.
Prapya punya kritam lokam.
Ushitva shashvati sama.
Sushvita sasvati sama.
Suchinam Srimatam Gehe.
Suchinam Srimatam Gehe.
Yoga
Yoga Bhrashta
Bhrashta Vijayate.
Vijayate.
Thank you. Now I'm looking for a teenager who is a young woman to please recite, who is confident enough to do so. I guess it's one of you girls right up there. Want to try?
Prapya punya kritam lokan.
Prapya punya kritam lokam.
Ushitva sasvati sama.
Ushitva sasvati sama.
Suchinam Srimatam Gehe.
Suchinam Srimatam Gehe.
Yoga Bhrashto Vijayate.
Yoga Bhrashta Vijayate.
Thank you. And last, I'm looking for a young boy who is 12 or under. Anyone here?
Mostly they're on.
Yeah,
Sunday
class.
school. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll continue. Please respond. Prapya.
Prapya.
After achieving.
After achieving.
Punya kritam.
Punya kritam.
Of those who performed pious activities.
Of those who perform pious activities.
Lokan.
Lokan.
Planets.
Planets.
Ushitva.
Ushitva.
After dwelling.
After dwelling.
Shashvati.
Shashvati.
Many.
Many.
Sama.
Sama.
Years.
Years.
Suchinam.
Suchinam.
Of the pious.
Of the pious.
Srimatam.
Srimatam.
Of the prosperous.
Of the prosperous.
Gehe.
Gehe.
In the house.
In the house.
Yoga Bhrashta.
Yoga Bhrashta.
One who has fallen from the path of self-realization.
One has fallen from the path path of self-realization.
Abhijayate
Abhijayate
takes his birth.
birth.
The unsuccessful yogi, after many, many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. Please respond. The unsuccessful yogi,
The unsuccessful yogi,
after many, many years of enjoyment
after many, many years of enjoyment
on the planets of the pious living entities,
on the planets of pious living entities,
is born into a family of righteous people
is born in the family of righteous people,
or into a family of rich aristocracy.
or
family of rich aristocracy.
Purport by His Divine Grace, HG Gopi Gita Dd. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The unsuccessful yogis are divided into two classes. One is fallen after very little progress, and one is fallen after long practice of yoga. The yogi who falls after a short period of practice goes to the higher planets, where pious living entities are allowed to enter. After prolonged life there, one is sent back again to this planet to take birth in the family of a righteous Brahmana, Vaishnava, or of aristocratic merchants. I'm worried that my battery is going to die. So, is it plugged in?
you can connect in the back.
The real purpose of yoga practice is to achieve the highest perfection of Krishna consciousness, as explained in the last chapter, in the last verse of this chapter. Let's read that again. The real purpose of yoga practice is to achieve the highest perfection of Krishna consciousness, as explained in the last verse of this chapter. But those who do not persevere to such an extent, and who fail because of material allurements, are allowed by the grace of the Lord to make full utilization of their material propensities. Please respond. Are allowed by the grace of the Lord
By the grace of the Lord,
to make full utilization
to make full utilization
of their material propensities.
of the material.
And after that, they are given opportunities to live prosperous lives in righteous or aristocratic families. Those who are born in such families may take advantage of the facilities and try to elevate themselves to full Krishna consciousness. Om Jnana-Tinandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sahitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadayam Dadati Swakadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namaste Raktakanjana Gaurani Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Pranamami Hare Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasavi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Arjuna is asking this question smack in the middle of the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is talking about the step-by-step ladder of yoga. He talks about karma yoga, then jnana yoga, bhakti yoga, the yoga of action, the yoga of knowledge, and the yoga of life. And right in the middle, after he's described all of the stages and all of the steps, Arjuna has a worry. And his worry is not stated in one verse. It's stated in the second verse and in the third verse. What is the destination of someone who fails? What if someone is unsuccessful? What will happen? Will they perish like a riven cloud is the second verse. Oh, mighty armed Krishna, he says, oh, my dear Lord, who can solve all problems and all failures. What's going to happen to those who can't make it? And then in verse 39, he says, this is my doubt, O Krishna. Again, he's stressing. Again, he's stressing. Nowhere else in the Bhagavad Gita do you see him, Arjuna, with such anxiety, other than when he decided he was not going to fight anymore in chapter 1. I ask you to dispel it completely, he says, text 39. But that's not enough. Again, he says, but for you, no one is to be found who can destroy this doubt. So we find this in our scriptures a lot, where there's a tumaginam idealu, there's no one but you, I have nothing but you, like really, really like akarshit, really like lowly, my dear Lord, I need your help, I have no one but you. And Krishna comes in super sweetly. Arjuna's worried. What's going to happen to those who are following the path of bhakti and can no longer make it? Are they just done? This is our hand movement when I was a mom and my kids were younger. And we would go, all done. I don't know if it's sign language or what it is, but even now my 21-year-old, if the prasadam is done, he'll go like this. Are they just done? And what does Krishna say? One who is engaged in transcendental auspicious activities will never meet with destruction, either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. And then he says, not only are they not going to be destroyed, but check out all of the amazing things I give them. Aristocracy, families of pious living entities. What does aristocracy mean? Money. They're going to be born in rich families. They're going to be born in well-to-do families, leadership families, corporate environments. And they are born in such a successful way that in that purport that we just read, they are allowed to make full utilization of their material propensities. So why do we bring this up? We have, on behalf of the Ministry of Education, and personally seen, over the past 40 years, that I have been privileged as a little girl and onwards to journey through the bhakti path. Myself and a team of devotees for many decades now, including the illustrious Gopi Gita and Aksh Prabhus, who are the children of Nilamani Prabhu. We have seen a systematic transformation of our second generation children. And what is that amazing transformation? That they follow the path very happily, very successfully. Yay, kirtan, yay, mridanga. And they're 12, and they're 14, and they're 17, and they're 20. And when they're going off to college, where are they all? Some are still here. Very small fraction of my peers from 3 decades ago are still here in our societies. They are making full utilization of their material propensities, but that's all they're doing. That bhakti that's always there in their hearts is not manifest. And you may also feel that you have been practicing Krishna consciousness for many, many years, and still wondering, where is my love for Krishna? Where is my hope for attaining the spiritual world? When I leave this body, do I know for 100%, no doubt, conviction, that I will go back to the Lord of heaven, that I will see the divine Supreme Personality of Godhead, that Srila Prabhupada will meet me at the end of my life? You may be feeling that you are trying and trying and struggling and going up and down in this material world and not have that faith internally that, yeah, I'm going to make it. And so I'll tell you a little bit about my story. Some of you know we just had a wonderful leadership parenting seminar where I went over this. We have been practicing Krishna consciousness our entire life. My husband is the son of a Prabhupada disciple who joined in 1968, Mother Dear Mama. And the boys have both been attending the TKG Academy private school, which is also a Gurukula, which starts in the morning with Shastra and continues on with their academics. My older son was 14 and entered into the dual credit program at the college and began amassing college credits. We had started with them in Krishna consciousness, and the goal was for us as an institution to show that material and spiritual success can be side by side. And he was already starting to get letters home from his professors. The professor of psychology, Miss Mitzi, wrote, "Your son at age 14 is the person that people go to answer their questions. And when we have group work, I never place him in a group. I have him walk around to help the other groups." This was the power of the Krishna consciousness principles, leadership principles that he had been raised with. But unfortunately, one warm February day that I will never forget, the 20th of February, I go home. He has been homesick with a stomach bug. I had an internal feeling that something was off. And I go inside at 3 o'clock after my work day is over and before. And I say, "Bita, how are you doing? How's your stomach?" You know, those of you who have kids know that this stuff happens back and forth. Kids have issues. And he says, "Mommy, I'm fine. I'm not throwing up anymore, but I don't know why. I'm not able to do my homework." "Well, what's wrong? Why can't you do your homework?" "I can't read." This is a boy who's been reading since he was 3 years old, fluent reading. "You can't read?" And so suddenly, what are you doing sitting here? If you haven't been reading the whole day, something is wrong. We need to go to the hospital right this moment. And immediately grab his dad, probably yell a little, as I just told all the parents not to yell this morning, and head off to the hospital. And they tell us after about 2 days of tests and us wondering what's happening, and my son's symptoms are getting progressively worse. He's becoming spaced out, exhausted. And they tell us, and it's weird even to say it publicly, it still feels weird to say it publicly, a tumor that's located in his brain has burst. And it's causing issues with his working area. And because this tumor has burst, he's unable to read. There were no other symptoms other than being spaced out, a little spaced out, and being unable to read. But a tumor has burst in the brain? It's a very freaky thing. And when I see the white spot, these are memories that will stay with me forever. The pain that I experienced at that time was more than ever imaginable in this entire life. And our family, as many of you may already have been, we're all accustomed to pain in this world. Whether it be disease or relationship issues or challenges or employees and employers fighting or people backstabbing you, all of us go to bed at night and have to process the stresses of the day. And some stresses are more and some stresses are less. Sometimes cancer, sometimes heart disease, sometimes elderly parents getting sick. It's a constant flow of happiness and pain in this world. And my family also experienced its good, fair amount struggle with pain with my husband's recurring cancer. But this kind of pain was something that I have never, ever experienced at that level. And I had literally lost my mind. And I present myself and pride myself on being highly accomplished run a lot of different leadership spaces. But when I felt the pain of my child, I couldn't pour a bowl of cereal milk. The cereal would be in the bowl and the milk would just be overflowing. I couldn't teach the substitute teacher how to open the door to the classroom. I'm fumbling with the keys. And only when my sister flew in from Maya Pulpita Mela and sat by my side did everything feel okay again. But we had incredible support. The Vijay Maharaj was at our side for the entire 3 weeks, almost every day, 5-6 hours. Krishna Maharaj, Nidhi Maharaj, Bibi Gopi Maharaj, all of these are my fathers, my uncles. They all called, prayers poured in. Many of you have heard this. You poured in your prayers, your blessings, and supported our family during this time. 40 to 50 people descended upon the hospital during that time of the surgery. It was a 6-hour surgery. At that time, I went deeply within and asked the Lord, what is it? Why is it? How is this coming to my older son? And what is your plan for us? And the first thing I noticed, that my sister also noticed, was that every single corridor, in every single floor, in every single hospital, in every single city and state and country of this world is filled with people who are suffering this kind of pain. The pain of a parent. And they didn't have Krishna, and they don't have Ridhvija Swami, and they don't have, we were having such a party in those rooms with all these family members, Laura and Mother Birmala and Ridhvija Maharaj, and all of our friends. The nurses were pulling in chairs because of the jokes, and they wanted to hang out with us during that time that we were in the hospital. We felt lifted and carried by the devotees and the Lord. But what of everybody else? And so I deeply requested the Lord to please give me guidance as to what is your goal for us. And at that time, the responsibility was given to us. Mantras from my childhood floated into my consciousness as instructions and as hope for the entire population of human society. And so I share a little bit of that today. Since then, 2017, the Bhakti leadership path has been laid out in front of us and in front of those that we guide and work with. And today I will share with you very high-level synopsis of the Bhakti leadership path and one strategy that you can apply that will completely transform this challenge that we all face of being an unsuccessful yogi and that our families face. And so this Bhakti leadership path is guided by who we call in leadership parenting, because the process is being given to non-Hare Krishnas, Saint Gaura and Saint Midai. I just had a client visit my house last week who saw my Gaurita deities. I don't bring them immediately into the Bhakti space in order to not overwhelm them. And as soon as he saw the deities, he was like, I've always wanted dolls like that. Can you give me a pair? And Srila Prabhupada said that Gaurita are happy dolls, and you can give them to anybody, and they can place them on a respectable place, offer them some water. And so Saint Gaura, the patron saints of love and learning, guides this bhakti process. This bhakti process is a process that combines, as Prabhupada says in that purport, the spiritual requirements and the material requirements. Our children that are in our homes are here to teach us how to combine the spiritual path and the material path. And we're going to skim over this real quick. Ado Shraddha. It starts with preliminary desire. Each of these circles tell you the strategies that take place. If you're interested in furthering this and understanding more, you can always set up a consultation with me. I coach clients today and work them very systematically through this leadership parenting, and leadership coaching process. From Shraddha comes Bhajana Kriya. The Sadhu Sangha and then Bhajana Kriya. Sadhu Sangha is where you connect with each other. And the connection space is also known as Sambandha. From Sambandha, we move to Avideya. Avideya is Bhajana Kriya, where they complete their tasks. From Avideya, they move to Prayojana. And Prayojana is the space of accomplishments, achievements, they're fulfilling the needs of free will and agency. Now, all of these have three core needs that are met by the bhakti processes. The need of connection, the need of free will and agency, and the need of achievement and completion. These three needs, when met, bring out dharma samadhi. And when dharma samadhi is brought out in the heart, one can feel their purpose. Why am I here? What am I here for? They engage in activities. Bhakti, all activities become merged into bhakti. Krishna bhakti kole sarva karma krita hoy. Anything you do, walking, eating, dancing, driving to work, sitting in traffic, talking to your boss, folding laundry, all of it becomes bhakti yoga. And that is the space of dharma samadhi, where there is no distinction. The work is your worship, is your play. And there's no distinction between the different parts. Not that only if you're at the temple with Tilak and offering arti, you're a Vaishnava. And if you're not doing that, and if you're at work, talking to your boss, eating lunch with a colleague, anybody Gujarati here? Chokri Marido. You're no longer a Vaishnava. No, everything together becomes bhakti yoga. And then from there, you develop your own or your child's empathy, and they learn collaboration. Win-win. I'm going to serve you, you're going to serve me, we're going to serve each other together. And that's Sangha. And from there, you are guided to Sankirtan. Sankirtan is what John Mackey, the CEO of Whole Foods, calls win-win-win. I take care of your needs, you take care of my needs. We have a symbiotic, loving relationship, and together we serve all of humanity. And that Sankirtan is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come here to teach us. In order for us to get from those stages, you can see on the side here are the actual stages of Bhakti Yoga. Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema. Working on a book to lay this out. The existing book lays this out in a very subtle way. It's for non-Bhakti practitioners. I'm working on a book to lay this out for Bhakti practitioners. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the one who has brought this mood of Sankirtan to our Western world. And he has brought us to this space in America with rich aristocracy, those of us who are unsuccessful transcendentalists. And he has brought our children who were unsuccessful transcendentalists to our homes to learn how to apply this in their life. The thing is that we jump over the connection space into the Abhideya space and into the Prayojana space. Our tendency is to work from Ado Shraddha to Sadhu Sangha. Sadhu Sangha means loving, rejuvenating environment of Krishna consciousness. Bhakti, happy processes where we're like, yay, let's go to the temple and hang out. Let's have wonderful kirtan. Let's talk to each other. Let's eat salad in a happy way. We go from that to Abhideya and Prayojana. And Prayojana is where you're so attached to that end goal that you're cutting the connection. Because you're so determined that your child or yourself has to see and has to act like perfect, pure Vaishnavas right in this moment, that if they don't, we reject them. Why are you wearing your tilak like that? Why are you listening to that song? Don't you know? If you want to be a devotee, you have to X, Y, Z, and A, B, C, D, all the way to Z. And we drop into Avideya and Prayojana without nurturing this feeling of connection. And so, when I was sitting in that hospital space and wondering, why is this coming about? The Lord brought mantras to guide this bhakti path. And one of those mantras taught me about the differences between Paramahansas and crows. And when we're trying to increase our connection with our children, we end up first rejecting them. Or when we're trying to increase our own bhakti path, we end up first rejecting them. But if you look back at the verse, Arjuna is so worried that the unsuccessful yogi will be rejected. Will he perish like a riven cloud? What will happen to him? All done? Finished? But Krishna says no. Krishna says the opposite. I give and give and give the best material, most amazing accoutrements and wealth and happiness to this individual who is failing. But when our individuals around us fail, how do we act? What do we say? When we fail, when we look in the mirror and we're like, not doing good enough, I'm not progressing in Krishna consciousness, what do we say? Krishna's testing you. The mean judge testing you. You're getting this in your life on purpose. It's your karma. Any of you ever heard that? You may not say it to somebody else, but you might say it to yourself. You reject yourself. And practically speaking, in the leadership parenting space, this looks like rebuke, sharp, harsh criticism of your children's personality and actions, or your peers, or your husbands, or your wives, or the other devotee. You know, he was cleaning the pots in the temple, and he didn't know what he was doing the entire time he left the water running. Prabhupada says we shouldn't waste water. We reject. Or we embarrass. When you make a child, or an individual, or a person you're guiding, feel small and useless, especially in front of others. Or you nitpick. Why is this wrong? You know, for children, for parents. Can I have a show of hands of how many parents who got hammered on this? Okay. Can I have a show of hands of how many of you are children? Look at everybody.
At some point.
And so either this has happened to you, or you have done this to others, perhaps, hopefully, just every now and then, not every day. Fix your hair, fix your shirt, fix your shoes, your handwriting's a mess. And how does that look in bhakti? When you walked out the door, you had the wrong shoes. You put the shoes in the wrong spot. One friend of mine told me that she walked into the temple room with 2 plates of prasad. She didn't have covers on them, but she wanted to see the DVD. And the first thing, some random guy comes up to her and says, it might have been one of our devotees, I hope it wasn't, in Dallas, and says, why are you here? You need to cover your face. When a guest comes in, and he says, oh, can I have some neck, please? The first question to that guest is, do you eat meat, or do you eat meat? Nitpick, jab at, everything that, you know, you're jumping into Abhidheya Pravashana without actually checking out. Nectar of Devotion, which has the long list of rules and regulations, that's the last of the 4 books of the Bhakti Sastri course. That's the last one that you do. You exaggerate, you collapse, you threaten. So those are some more intense things that happen when you're like really guiding somebody personally. And instead, what we request you to do is offer a love boost. Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu was pure and unadulterated bhakti or love. Even when they say he chastised Keshava Kashmiri, John Kazi, Jadai Madai, you read the Chaitanya Charitamrita Chaitanya Bhagavad carefully, and you will never see that he chastised anybody. It is so amazing to read and to witness. With Keshava Kashmiri, here was a very, very proud, how much time?
We can do a couple more minutes. 5 minutes more.
Here was a really proud scholar. Such a proud scholar that he needed to go around to every single town and village in India and prove with a Jaya Patrika that I am Digvijay. Imagine the insecurity in his heart that he needed a paper like that to prove his own intelligence. Someone who's smart doesn't need a paper to say they're smart. And what does Chaitanya Mahaprabhu do when he sees him? Now this is God. When Balaram saw Romaharshan Sutta, he took a little piece of grass, poked at him, and the guy killed over on the spot. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw, here's somebody coming to humiliate him. Keshava Kashmiri didn't come to say, oh yeah, I'm going to accept this 16-year-old boy as my, God. No. Keshava Kashmiri don't care. Oh, they think people are saying he's great? Let me check that out. Let me defeat him and humiliate him. That feeling in his heart he had. And when he went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say? There is no greater poet than you in this world. He gave him a boost. John Kazi, he had taken the Mridangas and thrown the Mridangas away on the ground. He was a demon. He was Kamsa. And what did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu do now? We know about the mobs that went to chastise Chankazi. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told all his devotees, grab torches and walk to Chankazi. And we imagine it as like a big mob. But what did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu do when he told all the devotees to be peaceful? He sat on the doorstep of Chankazi's house. Now, you don't sit on the doorstep unless you're very humble. And he said, you are my uncle. You are a respectable leader of religious principles. And then started his dialogue. Again and again, in every single one of Gauranga Mahaprabhu's pastimes, every single one, you see that when someone is away from the rules and regulations and the practices of bhakti, forget away from. When someone is hurting others, frustrated, angry, demoniac qualities coming out, give up. Just give up. And Nityananda Mahaprabhu, he's the most amazing example of this, and you all know this story. Jagai Madhai, he didn't see them as demons. He immediately gave them life. And here is Jagai. Madhai has taken the clay pot. Can I have a show of hands who has heard this story of Jagai Madhai? The most, everybody? So Lord Nityananda is Balaram personified, and Jagai is taking the clay pot and Madhai, and they want to hurt him. And Madhai is taking the clay pot, and he hits Nityananda Mahaprabhu, who falls to the ground, and blood is pouring. And the devotees are crying. What's going to happen? And Lord Chaitanya comes on the scene. And Lord Nityananda says, wait! And tries to convince Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya can't be convinced. He's frustrated and angry right now. This is not okay. This is the one thing you can't do is hurt another Vaishnava. And Nitai does a love boost. He turns it around. He says, well, actually, you can't kill them both. You can't hurt them both. Jagai saved my life. Jagai didn't save nobody's life. Jagai was just as addicted to killing Lord Nityananda in that process, but slight, tiny bit. He felt, wait, maybe what we're doing is wrong. And Lord everything that is going wrong in ourselves, in our spouses, in our children, in our community members. This rule's not being followed, that rule's not being followed. Or are we giving each other love boosts? And the love boost is, look at your words, verbally record, energize with equality. And we're cutting off on time. Srila Prabhupada, whoever he came in touch with, whatever service he did, he gave them such a feeling of love. And I promise you, my father, my teachers, my spiritual leaders, they did this with me. And because they did this with me, with my sister, and many of our leaders have experienced this, I know Gopi Gita Dd very, very personally worked with her so well. She also experienced this. But not everybody experiences this. And those who do not experience this, they will fall away. And they won't come back. And how can we, Krishna is saying, the unsuccessful transcendentalist, we must only give them a love boost, especially in connection with spiritual activities. Whoever Gauranga Mahaprabhu corrected felt blissful in their hearts. And so here is a practical love boost. We'll end on this note. I'm requesting each of you, of course, Madam Gopal Prabhu is co-director of the Ministry of Education. And I was recently in New Vrindavan for the GBC College, where Nitya Prabhu gave us a beautiful course on communications. And he had us do this for 45 minutes in the session. It was so powerful. I've usually done it in sessions for only like 5 minutes, but he had us do this for 45 minutes. I see you with an action that shows me you are a specific quality. And so for kids, it looks like this. I see you, brought the groceries in. That shows me you are responsible. What does that mean? You don't say, I didn't see. I saw that you didn't do such and such. That shows me that you're useless, not a devotee, not a Vaishnava. You don't have a very long way to go. What can you do? What can you say? Is just a lost cause. Someone who is enveloped in that kind of environment from their childhood will never pick up their beads. They will never, when they're done with the Hare Krishna space of their teenage years, they will never want to come back to the temple. Why would they? That's Arjuna's perishing like a riven cloud. You have rejected and rejected and rejected and rejected them. Give a love boost. So today I'm requesting you to turn to, I'll give all the instructions first. I believe you all know each other very well here. You can stand up and turn to a friend of yours and say a quality that you see, an action they have done, and a quality that you appreciate in them. Bhava, Grahi, Janardana. Krishna just takes all good qualities. Let us do that with each other. And we'll end before you start. Aho Bhagiyam Stanakarakutam Jigham Shalapayam Apnisati Vidhigatim. She's with the Lord and she's singing. It has more power than me singing. Gambalayadum Sharanam Rajina. Udana was a Rakshasi. And Krishna saw, oh, she's my mother. And so I request each of you, please do this as much as possible to those you live with. Definitely to your kids. And if you want more information, you can contact me. I've got leadership parenting books outside for sale. Please all get your copy and drop into the leadership coaching environment and space if you'd like to learn more. This is just the preliminary strategy. In the connection space, we've got many more to go. So right now, I request you for 2 minutes to please walk around and give a love boost to somebody that listens. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So let us thank Mother Gopi Gita with one loud Haribo!
Haribo!
And if you're interested, please visit the website. This incredible website, Mother Gopi Gita. You can even if you just Google Mother Gopi Gita, her name comes right up front. So it's very easy to find. And if you're interested in coaching, how to be a parent, how to be successful being a conscious parent, or just general guidance, you will find her resources extremely valuable. So please look up. And if you're interested in the book, you will also see it. And that's something that we can do. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Don't forget to give the love boost also. Hare Krishna.
So hold on one second. Let's give, I know your program is late, but this isn't going to work if we're not going to practice it. So requesting Walt and Cindy here, everybody please stand up and practice this. Give a love boost to each other.
Okay, let's get up. Let's do this problem.
Thank you for arranging this wonderful seminar you did.
You are very sincere and he's doing all the volunteer services and all. Therefore, you are awesome devotee.
I see you are always reaching to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nicely, even the new people, and it shows that you really care about new people coming to the community. I really